I think it's funny that you mentioned earlier, was that earlier today, that I ran my half marathon?
Yeah, it was this morning.
So that's what that is behind me. All
Last
my half
time,
marathon stuff.
coincidentally, the last time you ever ran.
Yeah, been solid 11 years ago, half marathon. And I don't think I've run since.
No.
No plans to run ever again.
No,
I'm
well,
good.
even your runs are like more of a light jog. They're borderline home run trots.
That's fine. But like, my actual half marathon was decent. I was under my time.
Sure.
I was. I trained for months for that thing.
That's great.
I got a wild hair to do that. I don't know why. Never again. So I wanted to talk about, just real quick before we like jump in, my LASIK surgery. Because I can see for the first time in my life since fourth grade. I know you don't know what that's like because you have 2015 vision or whatever. So
I do, and it's funny because you had all this surgery and it's still not quite as good.
Actually, I think it's on par. I'm 20/10 in one eye and 20/50 in the other. So I actually might be slightly better than you now.
Doubtful.
That's what the doctor said.
Yeah, all right. We'll see.
But yeah, I'm almost 2 months post LASIK. It's called like LASIK SBK. It's Bowman something or another, like some crazy long name. But yeah, finally got LASIK. They like recommend you wait until after you're done like having kids and everything because your eyes can change and whatnot. But it is life-changing that I can just wake up and see, especially in the middle of the night. My eyes are still a little dry, so it affects like your tear production when you have LASIK, and so I still have to do like artificial tears and everything just to keep my eyes hydrated until my tear production comes back. But no
and
contacts.
Pretend that she's upset about stuff, she like drops those in there. And...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But like no
Dramatic.
contacts, no glasses. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like for reference, I was a -6 in my right eye and a -5.5. Cannot see shit. Cannot see shit.
Blind as a fucking bat.
So blind. I think I told you.
You're borderline a mole. Moles are super blind.
I couldn't see anything. And I think I told you, especially like you basically have to learn to like navigate your house like without your glasses. But I think I told you when I was like breaking it down. So like 20/20 vision essentially is like what a normal person can see clearly at 20 feet. The closest I could find on the internet was -5. So again, my prescription was a -5.5 in my left eye and a -6. But that distance is basically what you could see at 400 feet is what I could see at 20 feet. Wild. So like, but mine was worse, right? So it's worse than that. So further out, like what this. What you could see at probably 500 or 600 feet and how blurry that is, that's my 20-foot vision, AKA not shit. I can see colors, I could see lights, but anything else, reading, nothing.
I could be laying within like 5 inches of you and trying to show you something on my phone, and you'd be like, "That's gotta come closer," and I'd have to be like,
"Yeah, no, I can't. I couldn't see.
Bad.
I couldn't see.
So much so. So much so. So this was our second apartment in Texas. It was our first apartment in that building, but our second apartment in Texas. We had one of those like silly late arguments where it was like, I don't know. Neither one of us were probably right about it, to be honest with you. I don't even remember what it was. But it was like I had said something to you kind of chirping, and you got mad.
I was already in bed. Yeah. Lights off. Glasses off. So again, cannot see.
So the way our bedroom was set up, like our bed faced this wall. We had a window on my side of the bed on the right, and on the left was like
our bathroom.
Left front was the bathroom door to get to our bathroom. And I'm standing arm's reach from you. Like literally in arm's reach from you.
Like you're next to my head, basically.
Yeah. And whatever I said prompted you to have to sit up to respond. And you dead ass sit up and just reenactment here. Immediately look at the bathroom door and start like whatever. I don't remember what you said, but it was just like you were yelling at me at the door, and I'm like, dude, I'm right next to you. What the fuck are we doing here? It's like,
fair, it's
one,
dark.
regardless of vision,
skinned,
you should be able to tell my voice is right there. Like, that is insane.
The last time I had talked to you, apparently, was you were still in the bathroom.
Needless to say, that black, argument ended immediately because I could not. I died. That was so because you were so convicted in what you were saying to me that I mean, my gosh, you jumped all the way up, set as flat up as you could to cuss me out at the door. I feel like all of our stories involve you cussing me out somehow. That's not very good. If anybody's wondering, I am not okay. Please check on me.
Blink twice if you need help.
No, but you sat up and looked at the door, and I still don't understand to this day, regardless of your vision. Your vision was horrible. Like, that was a very clear indication of how bad your vision was. But, like, I'm right. There's no way you can't tell my voice. We were in the middle. It's not like you just, like, thought of this 5 minutes after the conversation. It's like we were literally in the middle of that conversation. So, I don't know. That was bad.
Moral of the story is LASIK is amazing.
Horrible.
It was so fast, though. Like, that surgery was so fast. It was painless. It was weird because you're like awake and your eyes are numb, but you really can't tell your eyes are numb. I don't know. It's
you were
like
fried
magic.
when you came out of there.
I was. I couldn't. The worst part is so they give you a little bit of Valium to like take the edge off because a laser is going in your eyeball, right? So like it's a little intimidating, and they don't give you very much. Like it's not a very high dosage, but it does make you tired. Like, and I didn't feel any other effects other than being tired. And with LASIK, they told me I cannot nap until I go to bed that night. So my surgery was like at noon, I think, that day. And this was also like leading up to Cruz's wedding. And so you had to go get your suit like measured and all of that stuff. And so we were right near my like the surgery center was right near where the Men's Warehouse was. And you're like, let's just run over there real quick. I think it was like a weekday. So Quentin was still in school. We just had Kaya. We'll go and do that. And I shit you not, I roll in looking like an absolute douche canoe.
You look like Lisa Rinna wearing sunglasses wherever you go.
I did. So they're like, you have to wear sunglasses because like, I think my eyes were dilated a little bit, plus like whatever they put in my eyes and then the Valium. But it was all I could do. Like I said last week, like holding up my arms and legs, it was all I could do to keep my eyelids from closing.
That was like, Men's Warehouse probably thought, like, damn, this lady's hungover on like a Tuesday afternoon.
Well, I told the one girl, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I look like a douche right now, like wearing sunglasses inside, but I just had LASIK like half an hour ago. And she was like, oh my gosh, I did the same thing. Like, you know, I love it, blah, blah, blah. So it was like, at least she understood why I looked absolutely ridiculous. But then I'm sitting there, you're getting measured. We're in there for like an hour.
No, I was telling them that you were like on like 8 drugs.
But then Kaya has to eat. And so I'm sitting there like trying to hold her and feed her and like basically not slump over in this chair. It was the first hour and a half or so after was probably the worst of it, just trying to like stay awake. And then as my vision started to improve and I could see things, it was a lot easier. But oh my gosh, when they were like, you cannot nap, I'm like, all I want to do is shut my eyeballs.
I feel like that was a Thursday because I feel like I took him to gymnastics that night.
It wasn't Thursday. It was a Thursday afternoon because I had to follow up Friday morning. But oh my gosh, yeah, it's great. Like, highly recommend it if you have crappy vision and you can do it. Totally, so far has been worth it. 2 months after it's been done, but yeah, just beware if they give you Valium, you're gonna want to fall asleep. Well, let's get into some NFL draft recap. This is going to come out the Monday following the NFL draft. Mm-hmm. So I'll let you start.
I have mixed feelings about how the Cowboys did. I feel like the players
par for the course, by the way. Par for the course.
Whatever. I feel like the players
what pick did they make the other night where you literally like started cussing at the TV again?
That was I'm getting there. That was on the first round. So yes. No. Yeah, it was first round. Yeah, so I love the pick of Caleb Downs. I think he's the most versatile and the smartest player in this draft. And that's not just because he went to the Cowboys. I think generally speaking, most people would probably agree with that. Love that pick. Need defense. I think any player we picked that wasn't defense in the first round would have had me driving directly to the Joneses' house. But
no kidding.
Yeah. Anyway, so I love the pick of Caleb Downs. Unless Miami was getting calls, they're like the moving up one pick thing was silly to me. It worked out later. Like, so two things happened. Like, right, we moved up there, and it was one pick in front of us, and Miami was clearly not planning to take Caleb Downs at that point. So then we moved up there, lost our 5th round picks at that point that we had, and then we traded with the worst fan base, worst team we possibly could have at that next pick with the Eagles, and let them go get a fucking receiver. Not that, like, I mean, he's a great player. I'm hoping he doesn't turn out on the Eagles and like go somewhere else or hates it there or something. Like, whatever. But like, we traded with our division rivals, like the worst possible trade partner we could find. But then I saw the details of I saw the details of what we were getting out of that. So it's like we lost our 2 5th round picks, but picked up 2 4th round picks. So we're getting better value, better potential to be better players in that 4th round. I just didn't love the pick for this. I mean, I know he's got a ton of potential, this UCF kid that we picked. There were a few more proven commodities on the board, and I really felt like we were going to try to go linebacker, maybe a CJ Allen. Probably a reach to go get Jacob Rodriguez at that point, but I just didn't feel like that guy was a 23rd pick. He could prove me wrong, but I was not very happy in the moment because I was like, dude, like, what are we doing? Like, why are we picking this? Like, we do this shit where we pick guys off potential. Like, we did it with Taco Charlton, and TJ Watt got picked 2 picks later, and it's like, are our evaluators that like bad? Like, what are we doing? And it's same thing goes with the Chiefs. I feel like you guys have also struck out when it comes to pass rushers quite often.
Like, I hope we did not.
Chris Jones is a D tackle. He's not really considered a pass rusher, but like it just. I thought the rest of the draft went reasonably well. They got a couple more edge rushers to fill out that room. That Barham kid, I think people are like freaking out because it's like we basically picked back-to-back edge rushers, but he actually is versatile. He'll be able to play off the ball too as a linebacker. So I think that one's a little bit different. And then got a corner a little later than I would like. Got an offensive tackle to kind of fill the depth there too. So I did feel like they had a pretty good draft. Overall, I just wasn't happy with the timing of some of these trades and who they were trading with in the first round. So I thought they did well. Honestly, I thought the Chiefs had an okay draft too. I didn't think they needed to jump to 6 from 9. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know that this, because both maybe the Commanders would have taken Delane, but Sonny Styles is sitting there. And I know how much Dan Quinn loves his speedy linebackers. So I just don't know what they must have been. Again, same thing with Miami. Cleveland had to tell them, like, hey, somebody's trying to, it may have been us, hell, for all I know, trying to move up and get him. I just felt like they kind of gave up a bunch for somebody that probably would have fallen to them. If not, they probably could have gotten Caleb Downs. I mean, like, it's not like, not that, I'm indifferent about it because I know both of your corners left in free agency, right? Like, I know that happens. You need, and Delane is a dog. He's a dog. Let's see. Who'd you guys pick at 20? Peter Woods.
Peter Woods, yeah.
Did you see what he's been doing? This dude like bought millions of dollars in cars for his mom and his sisters and stuff.
Oh, I did. Hello.
And he's only making like $500K or something like that after taxes.
Out? Bro, what are you doing? Gosh.
Bro, what are
soapbox
we doing?
Again for another day, but like, man, can we teach these young kids how to manage money?
Like, what are we doing?
You're not on a multi-million-dollar contract yet.
You also have barely even put ink. I don't even know if you've actually physically put ink to paper.
He's probably not signed yet.
Yeah, he's tripping. I mean, now, to be clear, he probably has some kind of NIL,
NIL,
but like still, I'm like, bro, what are we doing? And then,
crazy.
I, honestly, of all your picks, I love Delane as a player. I didn't love the value of moving up for him, but I mean, he went to Oklahoma, so I can't stand him. But like that R. Mason, the
Thomas,
his upside. See, like, and you guys picked him. Was that the 2nd round pick or a 3rd round pick? He was your 3rd pick overall, but I don't remember if he was in second or third round. That you can take a high potential productive player, I think, in the second, third round. I just don't feel like we did the same thing in the first round. I didn't like that when the kid from Mizzou was. I know a lot of the Mizzou Chiefs fans were pissed that they didn't take the kid from Mizzou. They were pissed. So now I think this kid is a freak athlete, super fast. You need something like that. It feels like all your defensive ends are slow.
Old.
I mean, Karlaftis isn't old, but like they're just more run stoppers than they are productive as pass rushers.
Yeah.
So, I didn't hate it. I didn't really hate any picks that the Chiefs made. I just didn't agree with. I personally didn't agree with moving from 9 to 6 unless.
Yeah, I don't know what the circumstances was around that. I mean, obviously, even in listening to when like Veach called him, and then when Clark got on the phone with him too. I mean, they both made it very abundantly clear, like, we know we didn't give you a ton of attention. I don't think they brought him to the facility like for a visit, and like, so it was a little bit odd. But again, I don't know what was, what they were keeping under wraps or why they weren't sharing as much as they were. But I mean, they made it very obvious that they did that on purpose with the intent of moving up to come and get him. So
I don't know if that's why they moved up. I have a theory.
What's the theory?
So the Giants were picking at 5. And the thought was initially that they would go Jeremiah Love, but he went at 3. So he went to the Cardinals at 3. So you get Jeremiah Love going at 3, and then Carnell Tate, the receiver, going at 4. I think everybody and their mom thought they were going to either take the Giants. We're going to take Sonny Styles or one of the tackles or another receiver like Jordan Tyson, right? I think the entire world probably felt that way. And I feel like the Chiefs were like, holy shit, we're going to get a chance to get Arvell Reese. That is a premier pass rusher. I think that's what happened, which is why they didn't have Delane in so often. But, I mean, again, they got a great player out of it, but I do think they were moving up in order to get Arvell Reese. I'd love to get some inside intel on that, but I know. I feel like that's what they were moving up for. But they got a great player.
I mean,
they got the best corner in the draft.
And we were talking with our neighbors yesterday, I think, and he mentioned it to me, and I think he's absolutely right. I think we sent 2 very clear messages in the offseason. By bringing Bieniemy back, we clearly are saying offense was a coaching problem, not a talent problem. That was a coaching issue. So we're trying to fix that with a new coach. Defensively, based on what we just talked about and what we did in the draft, defense was a talent problem. Spags is great. We know that he can scheme. He's got the talent. He's got the chops, the mindset to do it. It was a player problem. And I feel like those are the 2 messages that the Chiefs sent this offseason. We're fixing offense. And that's what it looks like. That's what kind of the overall sentiment has been, is like, we're fixing the offense from a coaching standpoint. We've got the players. We've got the talent there. Clearly defense, especially pass rushing, was absolute shit last year.
I will give you pass rush. I will give you pass rush because I think what's lost in this is that the defense actually did play pretty well most of the season. They were just on the field a lot because your offense was
and they were exhausted. Yeah.
So, like, we joke about this, right? If you gave us your defense with our offense last year, it would have been probably an 18-0 season. Like, it just, I just don't think that the defense had help. I mean, granted, Chris Jones was playing lazy, and here they weren't making the fourth quarter stops because they were on the field far more often than they typically are. And I think, and they were, Mahomes didn't play great. The scheme wasn't great. Whatever you want to call it.
The scheme was bad. I mean, again, I think
couldn't figure out how to run the ball to save your lives. So it was like, there was a myriad of things that led to that inefficiency. But when you've got all these quick turns, putting your defense back in a hole, eventually your defense is going to break down. And you did not have a talent problem on that defense. I think you're right as far as like pass rush in particular, but like you had an all-pro corner in McDuffie. Watson's a good corner.
The secondary wasn't necessarily the issue.
Your linebackers are good. Like the defense itself as a whole was pretty good. It just was your pass rush. That was it.
Correct.
I think it was a little bit of just attrition setting in on the defense.
Well, and I think, we talked about it too with the offense. The league has caught up with...
They've passed them.
The Patrick Mahomes magic. Like, it's not new anymore, right? So I think I'll be interested to see what Bieniemy does. I love him. I think he's obviously got the the relationships, he's got the trust of a lot of the players already, right? With Travis and a lot of these guys who have been there for a long time, they like him. They're glad he's back in the building. I'm curious to see if this plays out. Like, should we have gone for maybe someone a little younger, fresh ideas, new scheme versus kind of, tweaking and reinstalling something we've already done? I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. So again, I like him. We've had success with him. I hope it works out and it is a nice reset that we need going into the 2026 season. But I also am a little worried of bringing somebody back into the building that has been around for a little bit. Like, I feel like we do need to freshen things up. So I don't know. I'm kind of firmly planted in the middle of, he's great for the building. He's great for the guys. The rapport is there, but are the ideas? Do we have the fresh takes? Because again, that's what took the league by storm, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And the league has caught up and Pat's gotten older and things are not, and we've lost Tyreek and we've lost some of these weapons. And so how do we reinvent that moving forward to still kind of keep things fresh and kind of off the cuff?
Yeah,
I don't know.
We hired a new defensive coordinator and I was like floored that we didn't end up with some old dude, because it feels like the last 4 that we've hired, we had Dan Quinn, awesome. Before that, we had Mike Nolan, garbage from the Stone Ages. Then we got Mike Zimmer for a couple of years, or 1 year actually, and then we had Matt, I can't stop anything. Hey, look, it's a boring cover 2 that everybody knows is coming. Eberflus. And then we hire this kid. Like, this is, we're kind of on the other end of the spectrum where it's like, we've got a guy in here that we think is going to be like great. He's young. He's got fresh. He can relate to players. Like, people around the league know him as for what he did as a secondary coach for the Eagles and some of the other jobs he's had. Yeah. But he hasn't proven himself as a coordinator yet. So we're kind of in that bubble of like, it's an unknown. If you get him the right pieces and you kind of build this defense around how he wants to build it versus the pieces that are already in the building, I think like getting a guy like Downs for a guy like him, where he can be used all over the field, is going to be exciting to watch. Now, all they need to be, if we have the same offense we did last year, all they need to be is middle of the pack. I'm not asking them to be a top 10 defense. It'd be great.
Right.
But, like, middle of the pack wins games. We can't be tying games with the Packers scoring 40 points. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like that's where I think maybe that's why they brought Bieniemy back, is with Pat's age and everything. Again, not saying he can't play till he's 40, like Brady, maybe he can, but maybe that's why, if they want to capitalize on what's left of his prime, quote unquote, is bringing somebody in who's got that trust, and we're not trying to spend the next 2 or 3 years installing a system and making it work and all of those things. So again, I don't know. I'm happy with the changes as they sit today. I'm happy with the draft, the picks we made. I just hope it translates once we get into OTAs and training camp and eventually on the field, because last season
the main priority is getting Pat's leg healthy. That's the first priority.
Correct.
And he needs to not. I personally don't think he should be rushing back for week 1.
I don't either. I mean, the first few games of the season,
he's too important to this team to just rush back for 2-3 games, right? Like it's a 17 game season. Like, you're going to be able to make up for whatever. And I just, if he's not, I feel like they need to 100%, I would not run him out there.
Totally. And I hope they, obviously, I mean, they know what they're doing, right? I'd like to think they know what they're doing. And so
we'll see.
It's like, take that mentality then into training camp and get our backups all of the reps that they need with the first team, right? Mm-hmm. Like, don't do training camp the way we typically do training camp. And so if Pat's ready, great. If Pat's not ready, then we're not scrambling to be like, oh, we didn't get the reps in that we needed, right?
I feel like, didn't you guys pick Nussmeier, the quarterback? I'm pretty confident in that. I'll keep looking it up here while you can carry on.
No, that's really it. I'm excited for this season. I think hopefully last season was a nice wake-up call. We've sucked for a really long time. We've been kind of in the golden years the last, 6 or 7 years. It's been really nice. Last year is a little bit reminiscent of how we had been the 20 plus years before that. So I'm hoping this was just a nice reset for the team, a good wake-up call, get back in the building and get to work. That's it.
Okay. I mean, that's all you can ask for. Let's see. Where are you guys at? I feel like they picked Nussmeier. Yeah, they did. In the 7th round, which is crazy because that kid was being tabbed as a first rounder. So he, LSU quarterback.
Yep.
Had some issues this year. Before this season, he was talked about as a Heisman contender. If anybody can turn him around, maybe it's the Chiefs, but you at least have some young quarterback blood in there. Because didn't Minshew leave?
Yes.
So I don't know. Again, I just don't think they should rush him back. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
I think
agree.
you take your lumps in those, at least that first game, and just get him healthy.
Yep. Could not agree more. All right, well, let's transition over to our doggo, our sweet pup. So if you're friends with us, you guys probably know that we had a very goofy, adorable, I guess, ended up being a pit bull mix of a bunch of different things, Nike. She passed away a little over 2 months ago, February 23rd of this year. She was almost 14, would have been 14 this year. We had her for 11 and a half years. Yeah. It's been rough. I'm going to try not to get emotional. I got a lot of emotion out yesterday that I hadn't. I've been kind of good for the last, couple weeks. Not a lot of crying, but yesterday got me a little bit. But no, she was the best. She was the first, our first dog together.
That was our first purchase together. Like, not to like
aside
make
from our
her
apartment.
Possession, but like yeah.
I mean, but aside from moving and like our apartment,
a week and a half into living there, we weren't trying to buy a dog. We were, trying to save money, get jobs situated, and all that stuff. And so we just happened to go.
We both had grown up with dogs, and I had followed a couple shelters, I think, on Facebook or whatever, and was like, let's just go. Like, it was a Friday evening, had nothing else to do, and we're like, let's just go look and see. And we were actually going to look at a different dog.
I'm pretty sure it was Boston.
It was a little like Boston mix, but it was small. Maybe it was a Boston Frenchie. I'm not exactly sure, but little, because again, we're living in a single, 1-bedroom apartment.
800 square feet.
800 square feet, did not need a big dog. And we get there, and I think she had gotten adopted like a couple hours earlier, which was great, but we were kind of bummed we didn't get to like look at her or anything. And there was this other dog that had kind of piqued my interest. I was like, oh, let's just go. Let's just see her, And her name was Pippi on... which is polar opposite of her personality, which is hysterical. And so we looked at her and everything, and sweetest dog, super. I mean,
yeah, even when we had her in that little area, she didn't want to she just didn't want to. She wasn't even really interested in playing. She just wanted to be with us. Like, she just enjoyed being around us. And it wasn't. She was like that with everybody. If you know us again, she was ready to be your friend the second you walk in her door. She was a horrible watchdog.
Zero threat. She was one. She was not a threat. Two, she was not going to take anybody out. You came into our house. Hey.
She's not doing any of that.
Let me show you where all of our stuff is. You want to lay on the couch?
Yeah, you want to rob us? Here, let me show you where the valuables
let you in.
Yeah.
So we leave that night. We kind of got some info on her. They were like, she's $50, to adopt. And we were like, okay, just, hindsight, nothing, to take a dog home of that size. But again, we had just moved. My job hadn't even started. I think you were still looking for a job. And we just were like, no, we're not going to do it. Fast forward to like 11 o'clock that night, we're laying in bed. I have my computer, and she like pops up on like my Facebook feed, and it's got this red like urgent banner, and it says urgent on her description and all of this stuff. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. What is urgent for what reason? So I like Facebook message the group that's on there, and they're like, yeah, basically if they get any new intake dogs in the morning, she's going to be put down. It was a high volume shelter. It was right by the airport. So I think a lot of dogs got dumped out there.
She being one of them.
Found out there. She definitely had an owner because she had already been microchipped. She had a green like tattoo on her, down in her lady parts where she had already been.
Well, and they told us though,
and everything.
They told us that she was like that. They knew her background. It was like the guy that had owned her, I think, was in the military. He's the one that microchipped her, gave her to somebody, and
like a friend or a neighbor or something to like watch. Her. Yeah. So shitty neighbors.
Yeah. Horrible neighbors. Also, why would if you knew Nike, there's no reason to dump that dog ever. There's never a reason to dump a dog, period. But like Nike of all dogs, that would be insane. Pippi or whatever your name was at the time.
So we literally like sat in bed till like, I don't know, like 1 o'clock in the morning, like crunching numbers. Like, what's the bare minimum of stuff get, like, we need to go get, like leash and food and bed and crate and this. Like, what is the absolute bare minimum that we need to do? And I don't think you could come with me the next morning for whatever reason.
Yes, I did.
Did you?
Absolutely was there. Yeah, we had to be there. We had to be there before they opened because we were afraid they were going to.
If anybody walked in with a dog,
we were calling them all morning to be like, "Hey, we are coming to get her."
Yeah.
No, I was definitely there. We went
I couldn't remember, but we like ran over to PetSmart, got a leash and a collar.
Yep.
And like hightailed it to the airport to go get her. And so yeah, but I mean, she was the best dog. I mean, she was potty trained, she was crate trained, super low key. She played every now and then, but she was a couch potato.
She played on her own time. And my favorite thing was like really early on, I took her at night a lot more than you, and I would walk her a lot further around just to let her, be out of the apartment.
Yeah, safety.
That too. Well, I mean, just in general, like, I mean, even like, because if we were taking her out during the day, it was like, okay, let's just get in and get out because it's hot.
Yeah.
But in the evenings when it's a little cooler, we were able to go out for a little bit longer. So I take her at our newer apartment. I would take her over to that dog park and so forth. And so, she was such a good dog. We weren't supposed to, but I could walk her without a leash and never have any questions on if she was going to take off away from me or anything like that. Just an incredible dog. And we when we brought her home, it was so funny. She was so timid at first. Like, she would lay in that blue bed that we got her.
Yep.
And then the second we let her like jump into our bed, you could just feel her comfort level just switch.
Game over. She slept in bed with us from night one.
Yeah.
Now, looking back on it, because she's been out of our bed for like 2 years now, because she just on a whim decided she didn't want to do it anymore.
Well, she also couldn't jump as much anymore.
She was getting older.
Yeah.
But I was like, I actually love that you sleep on the floor on a bed.
Yeah.
And not in bed with us. But
it was amazing.
But for the longest time, she slept in bed with us. But yeah, potty trained, crate trained right out of the gate. Again, loved other dogs, loved people, loved kids. I mean, you name it. So yeah, she was the best. She moved everywhere with us. She went
through everything we've been through.
3 apartments, our first house in Texas,
marriage, kids,
engagement, marriage, kids, moved here to Kansas City. And yeah, the last 2 years have been pretty rough. She, I don't even know what all
I do
kind of was going on. I mean, she ended up with kidney disease, but she just started having more accidents in the house, getting into stuff outside.
She had basically the same thing as a stroke, but they call it old dog syndrome.
Well, that was last year.
Yeah,
so but leading up to it, she just again, getting older and all that, was having accidents in the house, was probably having some kidney problems that we didn't know about that was causing some of that. And then, on Father's Day last year, we thought she had a stroke. Couldn't walk, wobbly, her eyes were darting, throwing up, the whole 9 yards. You took her in, and her annual exam was the next morning. And so they basically told us, and we called our friend who's a vet, and she's like, it's either a stroke or it's this old dog vestibular syndrome, which is she's like, they'll improve within 2 to 3 days, whereas a stroke, they won't. If you don't want to pay the $1,000 for blood work or whatever. Yeah. And so we were like, well, we're going to have blood work done the next morning. Let's just get her home for now, kind of keep her comfortable, and we'll see what happens. She luckily improved, which was great. Thought everything was going well. And then towards the fall, she had a giant cyst on her side. Yeah. That it was benign, had been growing, but had been growing disgusting. For a year and a half. We finally got that removed.
We had just gotten it removed when she had her little dog thing.
Yeah, dog thing. And so, but that was a whole conundrum because something underneath it wasn't fully cleaned out. And so it was leaking blood everywhere. I mean, it was, the last 2 years were a lot. You move into a new house. We have an 18-month-old when we move. So he's, Quentin was busy at the time and toddling everywhere. And but required more involvement from us. And then she's got a lot going on. So it was just high stress. I felt all the time with her. And then it was just kind of one thing after another, and everything's super expensive. And then towards the fall, I think is when we actually kind of officially got her diagnosed with
in September
kidney failure, essentially kidney failure.
It's chronic kidney disease.
Yeah.
And they told me she was early stage 1. and it goes up to 4 stages. Stage 2 is typically a little bit more aggressive, which is where we thought we were this spring before we put her down. But she had already progressed fast between when she first got to stage 2 through basically the back end of stage 3. And sitting there that day talking to the vet about like the serious options.
Well, so we took her in. Before you get into that, like we took her in the first part of like February 3rd, I think is when we took her in. It was about a month after Kaya was born. Because I noticed she had been losing some weight, but then out of nowhere one day I was like, she's looking like unbearably thin. Like you can see all of her rib cage. It's like
she had started like
underneath.
Limiting how often she was eating and all that stuff.
Yeah, not eating a ton of food. And I was like, we got to go get her checked out. And so you took her, you know, that day to go get her because I had, you know, little one. So
well, and that was the discussion though. The discussion was, hey, like you're kind of at a crossroads of making a decision here, which is a shitty decision to have to make. But it was either we selfishly write it out. We either selfishly write it out or we make that difficult decision, because what they were telling me was she was in stage 3 at this point. If she gets to stage 4, the misery, the pain, and all that stuff that she's already in is just super intensified. Compounded. And she could just like combust basically, like from inside, like just everything just kind of goes
shut down,
crazy and shuts down, and then you have a real like emergency problem on your hands. So
and that was the one thing I wanted, you know, I mean, as selfish as like you want to keep your dog alive, right? Like you don't want to put him down. But the hardest thing was like, I don't want Quentin to come home one day and she's not a little dog. So it's not like we could just like hide her, well, you know, or something if something happened.
Too. It's not even that. He was old enough to know. It's not like he's the 18th.
Yeah,
right?
No, but it's just like, I just didn't want him to like come home from school one day or us go to dinner and come back and
find her,
you know? So it's like trying to balance that of also like, is it the right time? Like there's never a right time. I don't think like it's hard.
Well, and then, so the day we ended up having to do it, that was another like basically like stroke episode. She couldn't stand. Like,
well, and I looked it up. Like they don't typically get that old dog vestibular thing.
She genuinely probably had a stroke.
She most likely had a stroke.
And even that day, you were still like a Sunday
night.
Me.
Was it at night?
It was overnight.
It was the night before because it was the night before because I had told you, I said, hey, she's still out there.
Yeah, because then I had to go clean all her stuff up in the morning.
You had to go pick her up, and then we left her downstairs, kind of in a gated off area, because she like. This is the first time, like I said, she's not slept in our bed for a long time, but this is the first time she had no interest in coming upstairs to our room. Zero interest in coming upstairs.
Yeah, she did not feel good. Yeah, and I, you know, having been in the conversations with the vet, I think I had gotten to a place of more, I guess, stage 4 acceptance or stage whatever that is of the grieving pattern.
Somewhere in the grief line.
Like, I obviously wanted to hold on to the dog, right? Like, Nike was, she was our dog, but like, that was my girl, because when you were traveling for work, it was just me and her for a long time. And so I took it hard, but I was holding it together the best I could. But you were fighting me on taking her in. And I was like, Amber, she feels like shit. She needs to be like at rest at this point.
Yeah.
And so we got the consultation of our vet, who happens to be like somebody I went to high school with.
A girl you went to high school
with.
So
random.
Such a small world.
So random, but she was awesome for us. And I was just telling her kind of everything going on, and you could just tell in her tone, she kind of felt the same thing that in my head I thought we needed to do. And so Quentin said his goodbyes in the morning, which was trash. Like, that sucked. It
was hard because I still at that point, I hadn't heard back from the vet. So it was like, go give her a hug, you know, and like trying to keep it light.
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, well, like, why am I hugging her? And I'm like, oh, just go give her a hug, you know, give her some love, you know, and whatnot. Cause I'm like, are we doing this today? Is it tomorrow? Like, we weren't sure yet. Like, it wasn't 100% until later in the afternoon.
Yeah. Then, you know, that day was just awful all day.
Sucked.
The next day was awful all day. The cleaning up her stuff, like the more we were picking her things up and putting things away, just painful.
It was one of those things that were, and I like, for me, I was like, I got to get it out of here.
Oh yeah.
Because if I keep looking at it, And like not, and it felt shitty because I'm like, I don't want to erase her, like, from our house, you know? And sorry, I didn't think I was gonna lose my shit this much, but it kind of felt like that, and that wasn't my intention. But I just knew if I kept her toy basket out, if I kept her bed out, if I kept this stuff out, like, I'm gonna go crazy looking also, at it every single day. Like,
it makes you feel guilty, like, because dogs can't make the decision for themselves in that situation. Like, it's not like she just passed, right? Like, it wasn't like she was 20 years old and just passed. It was really everything, you know, hitting that point. And so it's just, we didn't necessarily need to get rid of her, but we needed to get the other pieces of like what she was in our life kind of out of the way so that we could effectively grieve and move on.
Yeah.
You know, I took her ashes with me to Dallas so that I could get us a good spot for her at our apartment, because that was where she spent the most time when we lived in Texas, up until our yard, but I'm not going to go to some random dude's house. And so I took her with me there. We talked about this a little bit last week when we were talking about me being on the phone with you and all that.
Just with having kids running around, we really couldn't be super like
connected about it,
you know. But then
I got my moment because I'm there, right? Like, I was able to have the moment of like talking to her and all that stuff there and dropping those off. It was weird, I will say, carrying a bag of ashes with me places. Like, that was so weird to me, like going on a plane with a bag of ashes, but got it done. And then we've kept a couple pieces of her in these little memorabilia things with pictures of her and all that stuff, which are super cool. And then we
got her paw prints and her nose print, you know, and all that, which is, I mean, the vet did great, you know, and they sent her off and they sent her, you know, her ashes and stuff back in a really, you know, it came back in a beautiful bag, and then it was in a silk bag, and then inside the silk bag was this beautiful wood box, and in the wood box was like another silk bag. Like, it was so well done. But, you know, trying to explain to a toddler what's happening, like, I think that was also really tough for like the first couple weeks, especially the first week. Every single day was just Quentin asking, you know, where's Nike?
Even asking necessarily, is Nike where she heaven? Was.
Do you miss her? Like, and again, and if you have a toddler or you've been around toddlers, they ask the same question like 378 times before it like actually sinks in. And so it took several questions every single day for a good, you know, week and a half, 2 weeks. And that, I think, he was a dagger.
What was killing
over
me
and over again.
What was killing me was he would do all that and say Nike's with Jesus, she's in heaven, but then he's like, oh, I want Nike here, and it's like, we can't.
Or I want another dog now, like, if Nike's not here. No. And you know, we're firmly in the camp of like, we're going to take a little bit of a break with having 2 young kids, and we need to, after everything with her, like, we need some time, clearly, to before we do something else. But, you know, and then yesterday we finally got the last bit of her ashes, you know, put down in our yard, so out in our landscaping rocks, and put a little paw print out there. And so the 3 of us were out there. Kaya was taking a nap, and again, I mean, our kid's like, he's the best. He's so sweet and so empathetic, and you know, he immediately like leans down and like says, we're like, you know, you can come out and talk to her if you're out here or whatever, and immediately gives her a kiss like on the rock. And of course I lose my mind, as I'm doing right now. But he's just so sweet. He turns around, gives me a big hug, and he's like, Mommy, you know, she's okay, you know, she's in heaven, and you know, you miss her and all that. And so yeah, it sucks. If you've ever lost a dog, it freaking sucks. And I feel like right now is a really crappy time for people with dogs. I think there's been like 4 or 5 other people that we have known that we're close with that have lost you know, older dogs, like over the age of 8, you know, in the last 5 or 6 months. Yeah. And I'm like, gosh, it's not a good time to be an older dog in our group of friends, apparently, right now, because everyone's there. It's just, it's been shitty. So, but again, moral of the story, the best dog. We miss her. No replacing her by any stretch, ever. No. It's going to take a long time to come around to another dog, but,
I don't think it's going to take as long as you think, but it's definitely not something I want to do right away. Like,
it's not what I want to do right now, but
I had a moment to myself, a couple days ago on our little Amazon photos thing where there's like a memory of her from when we were, I think it was early on with Quentin. It broke my heart. I mean, immediately I'm like in tears. I'm hurting. Like it just,
as annoyed as she was with people, like, because she was sassy. She liked her space. So bringing Quentin into her space was like, it rocked her world a little bit. But looking back at all of that, oh my gosh, she loved him. And he loved that dog. Like when he was starting to walk and pull up on things, and he'd always walk over. And my favorite video is him when he was learning how to say her name and was actually talking a lot more at the back door.
Yeah.
Nike. Nike. You know, so yeah, I mean, I love that we have all those pictures and videos, and that he at least is old enough to remember her and everything. So, but yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough. Well, yeah, I mean, I think we're going to talk about, you know, Quentin's birthday. His birthday's coming up here in about, a week and a half. His birthday party is in a week. So we'll talk about that, you know, next week. We're going to record middle of the week, so it'll be before the party, but we'll kind of give a lay of the land, kind of for what we're doing. I also want to talk about his Disney birthday from last year, because that was so much fun, and talk about kind of some future Disney plans, and then, what the hell we're going to do with Kaya, being a New Year's baby. I'm already I'm a mid-January and it already sucks. And so putting her kind of on January 1st, I don't know. We'll talk about it, but, he's so excited, you know, to turn 4. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, unfortunately we have to wrap this episode up because of the time we have, and kids are waking up from naps. And so we're running out of time, but we'll cut this episode a little shorter today, and then talk about, the kids' birthdays and plans and stuff, for our episode next week. So yeah, you want to close us out?
Yeah. All right. So unfortunately, that does it for today's episode of Mixed Media. Follow us at the Mixed Media Pod on Instagram. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And feel free to leave us any ideas for topics that you guys might have, especially those of you that know us. If there's some topics you guys have heard from us or want to talk about, please let us know in the comments, whether that's on YouTube or on our social media handles. So thank you, everybody.
All right. See you next time.